Hello guys, so today we're gonna talk about eye makeup for any eye shape. That technique will show you the exact placement of a crease eyeshadow or smoky eye eyeshadow for your particular eyes. It doesn't matter if you are monolid eyes or hooded eyes or you have huge and protruded eyes, rounded eyes, whatever. So first thing that we pay attention on is our brows, because that is very important. Where is the beginning of your brow and the end of your brow? I'm going to show you now everything on myself. I already have the flick, as you can see here, but I don't have anything on my crease color. But we're not talking about the flick itself today. We're only going to talk about the area, how we place the eyeshadow on our particular eyes. The end of the brows and the beginning of the brows is very important things. Some women, they have very hairy brows. So when they pluck them out here, they make it thinner, but then they don't pluck here on the bottom. So they kind of opt for length, they want length still, which is great. Of course, we want longer brows, but then what's happening is that line is going too low. If they have hairier brows, then hair grows here on the bottom a lot, and so here on the bottom a lot too. So when you're plugging your brows here, you also have to think about pretty much hair here on the sides, because what it's gonna do, and I've seen so many ladies, they are making this mistake. They make the brow and then their tail is just going down and it's just dragging the whole face down. And brows don't have to be that long. Some faces, they have their brows too short. That's another extreme thing. We also don't want that. We need the full brow. We need the end of the brow as well. So we know that very old technique, right? Nose, beginning of the eyes, this is where our brow starts. And then nose, the end of the eye, this is where our brow ends. So just check this out for yourself, and everything below that you should black out, because now I'm going to show you the technique that will depend on the brow. Now we're going to choose the brush that is used for crease. And the best brushes, they should be pretty dense. This is how you can check the good brush in the shop. So you place it, and if it bends very easily, then it's too soft. And that means that all your eyeshadow will just be dispersed all over your face. We don't want that. This MAC 217, not so loved by people anymore, as I know, but I still use it. But I plan to buy something softer actually. This one is a little bit like goat hair, too scratchy, I would say. So what should be the size of the brush for your particular eyes? You relax your face, you look straight in the mirror. Not like this, not like this, not like this, but straight, just in front of your eyes. So your eyes will be fully opened. And then you notice where your crease is. And in case you have monolid eyes or you have hooded eyes where your crease is basically lying on the top lash line. So that space that is right between your crease and the beginning of the brow. So that half of that space is approximately what the size of your eyeshadow brush should be. And every person has very different distance between their brow and their crease. For example, here we can see that the brows are pretty low on the eye, so there's not much space, even though the eyes are pretty big. Like on this picture, her eyes are pretty hooded, and at the same time, pretty small distance between the brow and the crease. Now I need to show you what is your personal scheme for eyeshadow placement, whether you go for just above the crease blending or you go for smoky eye. So we go from the crease, or if you have hooded eyes or monolids, we go from the top lash line. I see my crease just above the pupil, and then I see the beginning of my brow. Then I find the middle point in this area. I find the center. I go right to the middle and I place the dot there. You can actually take a beige pencil or something. Okay, I place the dot. You can see this, right? So it's just in the middle. Then we go a bit further to the highest point of our brow and the crease, and then we find the middle point here. So it will be somewhere here for me. Now we go further, this point and the crease. We find the middle, place it here. And then we go to the tip of the brow, and this is why it is important that your brow is normal length, not too long. Because if it's too long, then it probably will go too deep down there. You just drop all the eyeshadow and you make your eyes look like this, droopy. We don't want that. So normal length of your eyebrow is very important. So we go to the tip of the brow and again the crease. And we find here. So that will be your last point. Then we go to the nose, okay? Crease, brow, we find the center. And then beginning of the brow, crease, we find the center. Now, if you look straight into the mirror, you see all those dots. Basically, this is up to where you're absolutely safe to blend any eyeshadow. And when I say up to them, I don't mean that here you will have the darkest. The crease will be the darkest eyeshadow. And then you blend up to here. And then this area under your brow, it stays your natural color, your skin color, or you can actually add something lighter in there afterwards. So it's pretty safe. Now, it doesn't mean that nobody blends bigger or smaller. When you blend something smaller than this line, first of all, that amount of skin will be still light, and for somebody who has hooded eyes or heavy lid eyes, that will be just space will be unoccupied with eyeshadow, so probably you won't have that much of a lifting effect or big eyes effect. On the other hand, that's absolutely normal if you blend your eyeshadow somewhere here or very close to the crease, and all this space you keep natural. It gives us more French effect makeup or European, if I can say so. And if we blend above, if we blend to the brow or almost to the brow, that also is fine. It will be more like an effect of the 80s, but it will depend also on the color of your eyeshadow. If your eyeshadow is going to be too dark, then it's going to create that 80s effect and can be a little bit too harsh. But still, on some women, it just depends. It depends on so many things. It can actually look pretty editorial. And what is good also about this, imagine if I didn't have any eyeliner right now. So if you do it for your empty eyes, and it's better actually if you do it for your empty eyes, this last dot will show you the direction of your flick. It doesn't mean that your flick has to be up to this point. You can, but it probably will be too long. Your flick probably should be slightly shorter, but it will show you the direction, like where to connect your eye and then where it should go, like what is the direction. Now I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna blend. So let me choose the color. I'm gonna choose this beautiful brown color, which has some setting effect to it. I can also go for matte. I don't like too shimmery eyeshadow, so I'm not gonna show you this. Okay, so I take the excess off. I close my eyes just slightly to find the crease. The crease will be lower. And with a circular motion, I'm gonna apply the eyeshadow, very small circular motions, along my crease first. I'm not gonna blend it yet. I'm just going along my crease with circular motion, and I'm not gonna go too dark here in the center of my eyes. Of course, it depends on the eyes. If you have very far set eyes, and especially protruded eyes, eyes that are going forward, eyes that don't have a lot of a shadow here from the nose, or nose is not going forward too much if you have flat nose here, so probably you don't have those natural shadows here, so you can definitely go deeper here. But for somebody like me, for example, yeah, I have pretty prominent nose situation here already, so my nose gives so much shadow already for me here. My eyes are not deep set, but I know some people whose eyes are even deeper set. So for them, that darkness already exists there. So on contrary, they probably would have to add something lighter in there just to balance that thing. So personally, me, I like it when it just most intense here in the center and on the sides. And here it just blends to nothing. So I keep blending, maybe building a little bit more color. I stop at my liner, not lower, just stop there. And then I'm pretty safe to blend up to that line which I just showed you. I have dots here, so let me remove those dots very fast because ideally I won't have them. It's just to show you. And what I notice very often that women who try to do their makeup for themselves, they are super scared to blend the eyeshadow to a bigger area. So they just do everything somewhere there, and then that a lot of skin here stays empty, and actually can sometimes make the eyes droopier and more tired than they actually are, right? So this is basically where we're going. For the contrast, let me apply light eyeshadow here. You can also do that to make the blending a little bit more neat looking. You see, so that is that technique is just made with one eyeshadow color. Now if you want to make it even more professional, more like an evening going, you can take a smaller brush, slightly darker eyeshadow, and you can go back to the crease and in a circular motion, starting from the fleek just above your crease to the center. It will deepen the color, but in this case, you don't blend it outwards to that area anymore. We already blended our mid-shade eyeshadow there to the place where I showed you. That's it, you know. And for any eye shape, it doesn't matter what your eye shape is, that's gonna be your particular scheme. Let me do another eye. Adding some darkness for the evening makeup, but you don't have to do this. It's just to show you. And then on top, you can again go back to your first brush and help to blend this again. Darker into lighter eyeshadow. Clean it a little bit on the sides with not dropping anything. So by occupying that space here, you can actually make your eyes very tight looking, and also you can use so many different colors for that technique. You can use this peachy color, which is so popular nowadays. This very gentle salmon color. And also you can add some eyeshadow on the bottom, under your bottom lashes a little bit. But in this case, we always start with the center. First we do under our pupil, because there's a big risk that we again drop it here and drop it here. It should be very clean upwards line here. We don't do too much here. Be very careful. Blend upwards here, blend upwards here, and blend upwards here on the sides too, because if you blend too much downwards, again, it depends on the eye. Some eyes can pull that off beautifully. Some almond eyes or uplifted eyes, they can pull that off. Some women, if they have too much on these sides going on, then they can look like slightly cross-eyed, because you have too much here, not enough elongation here, and this way our pupil is not in the center anymore. It's more like here, just as a contrast. So watch for that. You just experiment and see how your eyes look with this particular technique. Very carefully going upwards here, applying some of the eyeshadow. And you can blend the eyeshadow lower. Don't be scared to do this, especially if the eyeshadow is slightly satin color. It's gonna look pretty gentle even during the day. Then we apply mascara. Let's say you want to do smoky eye. You do same thing, but you apply eyeshadow on your lid. Same eyeshadow. We have more like a daytime brown smoky eye today. You can do it darker with dark gray eyeshadow. It's gonna look very beautiful, probably for the evening. I turned it into smoky eye. And then what you do, you take whether small brush and dark eyeshadow. This is what I'm gonna do. I already did this before, but you can do it like if you start from scratch, you can do it right after. You take this dark and then you're going along your lash line up to here and then a bit more on the sides. You are making your lash line deeper, and best if you go in between your lashes. You can take eye pencil. What makes your eyes look smaller is not enough blending, for sure. Not blending to a bigger area. So you can definitely go and do your waterline with black pencil. If you want this makeup to look even more heavy, more sophisticated, and maybe even for the daytime, it might actually look good on you. Just try that, because some women, when they have pretty thick skin on their eyes, you can actually see that part of the skin, like a line of the skin, and then lashes. Sometimes that can give an effect of swollen skin around the eyes and pretty heavy skin around the eyes. So that trick with waterline can actually really help with that. Looks very sexy, very sophisticated. You see, because I have this blending, it didn't actually shrink my eyes too much. Maybe it made them a little bit smaller, but it doesn't look disproportionate necessarily smaller because of the blending again, because of the area we actually occupied with the eyeshadow. Please let me know if you tried this and how did that go. Of course, the blending itself takes some practice. You can watch this video about this little line that can help you get rid of tired eyes in 2 seconds. Subscribe here. If you want to support me, subscribe on my Patreon, or you can click the join button here. I will be very happy if you do, because it helps me to keep going with this channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.